In 1962, Ray Charles crossed worlds, Sam Cooke owned the dance floor, Motown's Smokey Robinson lit the fuse, and James Brown started shaking stages. But beyond the obvious classics, 12 R&B cuts ruled radios and still hit like yesterday right now. Coming in at number 12, Lost Someone, James Brown and the Famous Flame.
Come on home to me.
This is James Brown before the explosion era, when the weapon was control, not speed. The record was cut at King Studios in Cincinnati and released on King Records, written by Brown with Flames members Bobby Byrd and Baby Lloyd Starworth.
Come on home to me. I love you tomorrow.
The arrangement leans on gospel DNA, a slow swaying pulse, tight chord changes, and that pleading lead vocal that keeps climbing without ever losing the groove. What's wild is how the song lived two lives. As a studio single, it hit hard, but on stage it became a full crowd-moving moment. Brown would stretch it, build tension, then snap the room back to him. That exact slow burn into command style is a direct preview of what he captured at the Apollo in late 1962. At number 11, Annie Get Yo Yo Yo, Little Junior Parker. Junior Parker had that rare blend, blues credibility, pop-ready smoothness, and phrasing that sits behind the beat just enough to feel cool. Annie Get Yo 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 is built on a danceable R&B framework, snappy backbeat, bright horn punches, and a hook that's basically engineered for jukebox repeat. The yo-yo theme isn't a gimmick. It's a rhythmic device, letting the band punctuate the vocal lines with short, percussive answers. The history angle here is Parker's lane in the early 60s. He's part of that Memphis to Houston circuit sound where blues touring culture and radio-friendly R&B meet in the middle. It's also a reminder that 1962 R&B wasn't just ballads. It was movement music with serious musicianship underneath the fun. Number 10, Rinky Dink, Dave Baby Cortez. This is an instrumental masterclass in say more with less. Cortez drives it with a Hammond organ tone that's dialed for punch, tight attack, clean sustain, and a melody that's basically a vocal line translated into keys. The record was issued nationally through Chess Records, and it crossed over hard. Top 10 pop and a major R&B chart hit. The best anecdote is the business move behind it. Rinky Dink was originally on a smaller New York label and then leased for wider distribution, which is exactly how a lot of early 60s hits escaped regional limits. Technically, it works because the rhythm section stays disciplined, no flashy fills, just a locked pocket, so the organ can talk like a lead singer. Now we leave the instrumentals and novelty charm behind because the next three are where 1962 starts getting personal. Number 9, Cuttin' In, Johnny Guitar Watson.
Pardon me, buddy.
If you want to hear 1962 R&B flirting with the future, this is it. Watson wasn't just a singer with a guitar. He treated the guitar like a second voice, using sharp, clipped phrases that answer the vocal in real time. The track is built on a tight backbeat and a stop-start groove that keeps resetting your attention, like the band is constantly pulling you back to the pocket.
But you see, we had a little argument.
What makes it interesting historically is Watson's role as a bridge artist. He came up in jump blues and early rock and roll, but he's already thinking like a funk player. Short rhythmic stabs, aggressive accents, and a lead tone that's meant to cut through noisy rooms.
You tell by the look in her eye.
That edge is why this record feels alive. It's not polite R&B, it's a performance aimed straight at the dance floor. At number 8, we've got I Found a Love, the Falcons. This one is a snapshot of the exact moment doo-wop harmonies started toughening up into soul. You can hear the shift in the balance. The group blend is still front and center, but the lead delivery has more grit, more push, more urgency. Structurally, it's simple: verse, hook, repeat, but the magic is in the vocal stacking.
I'm just gonna tell you that I can't resist.
The harmonies aren't just background. They're doing rhythmic work, locking into the beat like another instrument. The Falcons are also a fascinating piece of the scene because their circle connects to the Detroit soul pipeline. This record sits right on that border where regional groups could spark ideas that bigger labels later polished into the sound.
You set my little soul on fire.
It's a blueprint track disguised as a good time. Sliding into number 7, Poor Fool, Ike and Tina Turner.
I'm not ashamed of nothing I do.
Early Tina is basically a force of nature trapped inside a classic R&B structure. The band keeps the frame steady. Strong backbeat, crisp accents, tight turnaround. And then Tina blows the doors off with phrasing that's half sung, half fired like a warning shot. Technically, what stands out is her dynamic control. She can hit with full grit, then pull back to a cleaner tone without losing intensity. That's not just power, that's technique. And there's a real story in the sound. This is the Ike and Tina era where the recording pace was relentless, built around keeping product moving and keeping their name hot on the circuit. You can hear that urgency in the take. If this countdown is hitting your nostalgia button, hit like and subscribe to support the channel so it can reach more R&B lovers. But the next stretch is where the hooks get stickier, the heartbreak gets sharper, and the lyrics start feeling a little too real. Number 6, Let Me In, The Sensations. This is one of the cleanest examples of early Dictadur's 60s hook engineering. The record is built around a signature motif, those instantly recognizable wee-oo style vocal arrangement punches. So, even if you walk into the song halfway through, you know exactly what it is. Structurally, it's classic pop R&B efficiency, short sections, fast turnaround, and a chorus that arrives early and keeps reappearing. Technically, the blend matters as much as the melody. The lead sits right in the pocket, while the group harmonies are mixed to feel like a single, unified instrument, not separate voices competing. That's why it cuts through noisy radios and jukebox rooms. It also shows how 1962 R&B could be light without being lightweight. Everything is precise, from the rhythm accents to the vocal timing. Number 5, Snap Your Fingers, Joe Henderson.
Baby, I've gotta know.
This is slow dance R&B with a deceptively sophisticated build. The groove stays relaxed, but the arrangement uses space like a tool, leaving little gaps where the listener's brain fills in the motion.
I'll come running.
Henderson's vocal approach is the key technical detail. He phrases slightly behind the beat, which creates that laid-back, confident feel without ever dragging. The song's genius is how it turns a simple physical action into a pacing device.
I'll come running.
The snap idea isn't just lyrical, it's a rhythmic instruction, giving the audience a way to participate without needing a big dance craze. In 1962, that mattered. Clubs and house parties needed records that could guide the mood without demanding choreography. This track does that perfectly. and it still sounds like it was designed for dim lights and close conversations. At number 4, I Know You Don't Love Me No More, Barbara George. The power here is restraint. Barbara George delivers the central line like a finished conclusion, not a dramatic plea, and that changes the whole emotional temperature. The arrangement supports that mood, steady tempo, no frantic embellishments, and a melody that's memorable because it doesn't reach too far, just repeats the truth until it sticks. It's a great example of how regional R&B could explode nationally when the concept was universal. Everybody understands the moment when you stop arguing and simply accept what's happening. Technically, the record keeps the vocal front and clear, letting articulation do the heavy lifting. No fireworks needed, just a clean mix, a locked groove, and a message sharp enough to cut. Next up, with the top 3, the emotions get louder. Number 3, Letter Full of Tears, Gladys Knight and the Pips.
Take a lifetime to break us apart.
This record is an early blueprint of what people later called soul drama, and it's technical in a way that's easy to miss. The lead vocal doesn't just ride the beat, it pulls against it, stretching certain phrases so the band feels like it's chasing her emotion. That push and pull creates tension without changing tempo. The Pips are the secret weapon. They're not just harmonizing. They're placing responses like punctuation, tightening the rhythm and making the storytelling feel conversational. And the title concept is perfect for 1962 radio. Everyone understood the idea of putting feelings into words you can't say out loud. It's also a career marker. This is the kind of early hit that signals this voice is not temporary. You're hearing an artist learning how to control a room through the microphone. The runner-up at number 2, Turn On Your Love Light, Bobby Bland.
Baby, please, turn on the light, let it shine on me.
This is basically a live show trapped inside a studio take. The structure is built for call and response energy, and Bland sings like he's addressing an audience, not a microphone.
You shook it down and you tore it apart. You left me sitting.
Technically, he's doing something smart. He varies dynamics constantly, half-spoken commands, then full-voice phrases, so the record feels like it's building even when the groove stays steady.
Come on, baby, baby, please, turn on the light.
The arrangement leans into that nightclub feel, a tough backbeat, horns that hit like signals, and space left open for the vocal to work the crowd. That's why it became such a standard, because it doesn't rely on one clever melody, it relies on performance design. Even today, you hear it and you can picture hands clapping on 2 and 4, somebody yelling back at the record like Bobby can hear them. Finally, number 1, Soul Twist, King Curtis. Ending with an instrumental is the flex, because this wasn't just a cool groove, it was Billboard's #1 R&B record of the year. The reason it works is that Curtis plays sax like a lead singer with perfect diction. He shapes phrases with breath and timing the way a vocalist shapes words, and the band gives him a clean runway. Tight drums, steady rhythm guitar, and accents that frame the melody instead of crowding it. What's most interesting is how this record sits at the crossroads of early 60s R&B dance culture, club sound, and pop crossover, all without a single lyric. It proves 1962 listeners weren't just chasing voices, they were chasing feel. And Soul Twist delivers a feel so strong you don't need words to remember it. If this countdown brought you right back to 1962, keep that time machine rolling. Give the video a like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And when you're ready, watch our next list of R&B classics that only people who lived through the 60s truly remember.